Now on CoastTV News.
Armed suspect search an active scene near Angola as police are still trying to find the man involved in an officer-involved shooting.
High heat and high energy use, what you can do to help decrease the electricity strain.
This is CoastTV News Midday.
Good morning and thank you for joining us. I'm Lisa Weber and welcome to Coast TV News Midday. We begin this morning with new information about a story we first brought to you on Coast TV News today. Delaware State Police have identified the suspect they're searching for in an officer-involved shooting that happened this morning in the Angola area. This is a picture of the man. That is Jason Arnold. He is believed to be armed, and state police say no officers have been injured during this incident. And Coast TV News reporter Emma Aiken is live at the scene in Angola. Emma, we understand that they are keeping you and neighbors away from the scene.
Lisa, we're as close as we can get to the scene, but with an armed suspect still out there, crews are keeping us about a mile away from the scene. We'll show you there's not really too much to see back here. The neighborhood is about a mile back there. This was the Blackwood area in Angola, and we just got an update from police that they believe armed suspect Jason Arnold is possibly barricaded inside of a house alone. However, that has not been confirmed, and staff from our Coast Copter tell us they saw an armed vehicle. They saw an armed car has smashed through the wall, and then a bunch of police went in. So we're waiting to hear the latest with that. And Blackwood Drive in Angola is the latest area that the suspect was seen fleeing around that area. And again, these DelDOT crews have been out here since about 2 a.m., only letting certain people that live in specific parts of the neighborhood back here. We're going to show you some pictures on your screen now. These were sent to us by someone who lives in the neighborhood. You can see lots of police surrounding a house, lots of heavy-duty equipment and machinery. Certainly a serious scene. And the latest updates we have from Delaware State Police are this is still an active scene. Troopers are still looking for this armed suspect. We'll be sure to provide you guys with updates as we learn more. For now, reporting live in Angola, Emma Aiken, Coast TV News.
All right, thank you so much, Emma. And we are now turning to another story. We're taking a live look at Rehoboth Beach today on this very hot Monday. Bob, we see a lot of people at the beach there having a good time, but while you're having a good time at the beach, you need to be careful and taking extra precautions like drinking a ton of water and staying in the shade as much as possible.
Indeed, that is very good advice, Elisa, as we are now in the midst of a dangerous heat wave across Delmarva. And look at this, temperatures already in the low to mid 90s away from the coast. 94 in Georgetown, 95 in Seaford, 92 in Salisbury, slightly cooler, so to speak. Bethany Beach, 89, Bethany Beach, 89 right now, as we're looking at dew point temperatures in the 70s to around 80 degrees. This is telling us it's extremely humid, and that's what makes it a little more dangerous. And look at these, feels like temperatures. Feels like 114 in Seaford, 103 in Salisbury, 105 in Dagsboro, 106 in Redden, and 110 in Milton. So we're bordering on dangerous heat. That's why we have a heat advisory across Sussex County right now. And now a brand new extreme heat warning. Dorchester, Somerset, Wycomico, and Worcester counties. Your heat could be a little more dangerous, while farther to the north across the eastern shore, heat advisory. This all goes until Wednesday evening as we're looking at those excessive heat warnings as well. Right along the metro corridor, along the I-95 corridor. So we're not alone as far as the heat. It's up and down the East Coast. We are looking at clear skies right now, and it's high pressure back to our west, both at the surface and aloft. That's what's creating the really hot conditions. You can see this hot dome all the way from the East Coast into the Midwest. So with that in mind, be really careful this afternoon. Stay hydrated with water and stay in air conditioning as much as possible as temperatures creep up through the mid to, in some cases, upper 90s as we go into the afternoon. Maybe 98 Salisbury, 97 in Millsboro. Slightly cooler at the beaches, and those feels like temperatures in some cases could exceed 110 degrees. So we've got the scorching heat today. I think a couple of more days of this, and then we'll start to see some relief by the end of the week, but much more on this heat wave coming up a little bit later in the newscast.
Thank you, Bob. And due to today's high temperatures and the likely high demand on electricity, the Sussex County Emergency Operations Center is asking people and businesses to help conserve power to avoid outages. Here are some of their recommendations. Set air conditioners to 80 degrees or use fans. Delay using high energy appliances such as washing machines and dryers until after 8 p.m. and prepare light summer meals that require minimal, if any, cooking. And officials in Berlin are asking locals to take part in a peak shaving effort this week. The goal is to cut down on energy use during the hottest part of the day. The town says people can help by running major appliances before or after peak periods, adjusting your thermostat by a few degrees, and charging electric cars and devices outside of that window. The shaving period takes place between 3 p.m. to 8 p.m. on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. That's June 23rd through the 25th. Over 10 bills are scheduled for review tomorrow in Delaware's House of Representatives. 0 is the number of days District 20 Democratic Representative Stell Parker Selby has attended Legislative Hall this year. She has missed every single House vote in 2025, and there are only 4 legislative days remaining in this year's part of the 153rd session. It resumes tomorrow with the full agenda in the House. And we are now taking a live look at Washington, D.C. The White House says the president is meeting with his national security team today after military strikes on Iranian nuclear facilities over the weekend. And it's unclear if the U.S. will escalate a military conflict with Iran. Iranian leaders say they're skeptical about diplomacy now. President Donald Trump says he wants them to agree to stand down and make peace with Israel. Otherwise, he's floating a regime change. Lawmakers' support for the strikes is breaking along party lines, with a few exceptions.
This is a very unstable, unpopular regime. Anybody who says that they have any idea whatsoever about whether these raids did anything other than create a big boom and a lot of dust has no idea what they're talking about.
And the War Powers Act allows Trump to use military force for 60 days, but only Congress can declare war. And the State Department has issued a travel warning for Americans traveling overseas. They're urging Americans to use worldwide caution for any travel. The latest worldwide caution was used in May of 2024. Lawmakers on both sides of the aisle are reacting to the president's actions. Maryland Representative Andy Harris, whose 1st district covers the entire Eastern Shore, says, in part, quote, "The U.S. took decisive action to destroy Iran's nuclear capability, protecting American lives, our allies, and global stability," end quote. Maryland Governor Wes Moore posted a response to the strikes on his Facebook page, saying in part, quote, "My thoughts are always with the Maryland Guard and service members currently deployed in the Middle East and their families. I know the profound sacrifices our soldiers and their families make every day," end quote. And Americans could start paying more at the gas pump after the U.S. military strike on Iran. Oil prices surged late Sunday. U.S. oil futures jumped 3.6% to about $76 a barrel. Some experts predict oil prices could go even higher, perhaps as high as $80 a barrel. Oil hasn't traded that high since last January and has largely stayed between $60 and $75 a barrel. That has helped lower gas prices to under $3 a gallon for many Americans. And coming up after the break, addressing safety concerns in Georgetown. The town is one step closer to making it safer for bicyclists and pedestrians. Improving safety for bicyclists and pedestrians in Georgetown has been in the works for quite some time now, and happening today, the town will hear outcomes from a study DelDOT started back in 2023. The study focused on the major intersections on North and South Bedford streets and East and West Market streets. The goal of this study is to make Georgetown safer for bicyclists, and the presentations of the final recommendations are taking place at tonight's town council meeting. On your screen right now is where Rehoboth Beach police say an 18-year-old led officers in a high-speed chase before crashing into 2 cars on Coastal Highway and Shuttle Road. Rehoboth officers say Isaiah Stokes is now facing charges after he ran from officers on June 18th. The chase ended in Stokes crashing, and the only injuries reported were to Stokes himself. According to the agency, he was taken to an area hospital where he was treated and released. Stokes now faces several charges, including 1 felony and multiple misdemeanors.
Really getting hot out there now, and quite humid as well. 91 in Cambridge. Look at that dew point, 75. That is tropical-like air as we're into the mid to upper 90s today. It's dangerous. We have a code red today and tomorrow for the excessive heat. I'll let you know how hot we get and when we could see some relief on the way. Congratulations to Susan Peterson from Delmarva on winning a new umbrella. Maybe Susan can use it to shade herself from the sun. That's from Paul Davis and Coast TV. Much more on this very hot forecast coming up after the break. Stay tuned. Dangerous heat continues to settle over Delmarva. Of course, we saw the heat building this past weekend, and now it's really starting to kick in. And here's the place to be. Oh, doesn't that pool look so inviting? Saw some folks in there a little while ago. Tunnel to Razor Cam, 87 degrees. A beautiful day, but a very hot day, even in the upper 80s at the beaches, and close to 90 for you in Lewis this afternoon. The storyline, hazy, hot, and humid, sweltering heat and humidity highs well into the 90s today. Along the coast, 86 to 92. Take it easy in this heat. And Tuesday through Wednesday, near record heat, oppressive, temperatures near 100, and feels like temperatures close to 110, and unfortunately no relief at night. And we are closing in on some record highs possibly the next few days. I'm going with 97 today, and 100 is a record back in 1988. So I think that one's safe, but tomorrow a different story. I'm forecasting 99. 97 is a record from 2010. Wednesday, I think we could tie a record at 96, and that was set back in 1952. Last time we hit 100 was back on July 21st in 2019. Here are some tips to stay cool in the heat. A lot of these you've heard before. Wear loose, lightweight, light colored clothing. Drink plenty of fluids. Stay hydrated. Drink a lot of water. Limit time outdoors. Wear a hat, sunglasses, and sunscreen. And spend as much time in air conditioning as you can, because look at these temperatures already now. Low to mid 90s. 94 is Georgetown. 95 in Seaford. 92 in Dagsboro. Even Rehoboth at 90 degrees. And 87 in Bethany Beach. At dew point temperatures, this is rough. Anytime you see mid to upper 70 dew point temperatures, that's a lot of humidity. And boy, look at the triple digit heat indices. 105 in Willard, feels like 109 in Milton, 106 in Dagsboro, 104 in Georgetown, 114 in Ocean Pines. So we're starting to get to that dangerous heat category, and it looks like they just upgraded the heat advisory to an excessive heat warning now across Sussex County. So that's new, and that extends back into Salisbury, Ocean Pines, Golf Club shores, with a heat advisory along the immediate coast, and the eastern shore now is under excessive heat warning. So this was just updated, so pretty much everybody is under that extreme heat warning, and that includes the urban corridor, I-95 from DC up to New York and Boston as well. And pretty much the entire East Coast is under a heat wave, as we're seeing winds that are variable. The winds aren't going to help us out much today or cool us down, as we're looking at the clear skies right now, and it's high pressure both at the surface and aloft back to our west, creating this big dome of hot air with sinking air. And that's why we're stuck in this heat wave for a few more days, with near triple digit temperatures and heat indices around 110. And this afternoon, mid to some upper 90s across the area. Very hot into the afternoon hours. Inland areas, 80s and 90s at the beaches. Very warm through the overnight hours. And by Tuesday morning, we're only down into the mid 70s. And by Tuesday afternoon, I think this is the hottest day of the year. Many places near 100, maybe Millsboro, Milton, and back through Salisbury as well. And then we go into Wednesday. It's going to be another hot day, but this afternoon feeling as hot as 110, maybe not as hot tomorrow with the humidity, but still very hot as we go into your Wednesday, as we're looking very humid to miserable conditions the next several days, making this heat more miserable. Relief by the end of the week. I think by Thursday, this ridge starts to collapse, increasing showers and storms as we go into the weekend. 97 in Harrington, 98 in Seaford and Laurel today. Stay cool. 97 in Cambridge, 99 in Federalsburg and Vienna, with Salisbury, Pocomoke City in the upper 90s, 90 in Ocean City. Paul Davis 7-day forecast, flirting with 100 Tuesday, 96 Wednesday. Then it does cool off a little bit, increasing showers and storms Thursday into the weekend, 90 Thursday, mid to upper 80s with storms Friday into the weekend.
Thank you, Bob. And here's what's coming up this afternoon on Coast Life at 4.
Well, we hope you had a good weekend here, but it's Monday. We're back to it. Let's see what's coming up today at 4 on Coast Life. We're headed to Ocean City to get a little cheese wheel pasta action. Cannot wait for that.
Can't go wrong with that. Plus, a little better living through science, some visualization technology that's helping doctors really get to the bottom of things, solve some of those chronic issues, and it's just amazing what they can do now.
It really is. We can't wait to sit down and chat with the experts. All that fun and more is coming up today at 4 on Coast Life. We'll see you then.
Happening now, boaters are being urged to stay alert after a sea turtle was reported in distress Saturday afternoon. According to the Murr Institute, the animal was seen surfacing rapidly and appeared to be struggling. Denmark and Murr responders searched the area using sonar but could not relocate the turtle. Anyone who sees that turtle is asked to stay nearby until help arrives. And coming up, tackling Delaware ticks, we'll show you what an expert recommends to kill the dangerous species. If you've noticed more ticks in Delaware this year, you're not alone. Denmark officials say they found higher numbers this year throughout the state. And right now, you're looking at a Lone Star tick. It's a common species found in Delaware. The state's tick biologist says Sussex County has some of the highest numbers. They say they expect those numbers to continue rising throughout the summertime. State leaders say it's important for people who were outside to do tick checks after being outdoors. And coming up tonight on DSN, live at 6:15, it's the Maryland Supreme Basketball League. Then you can catch the final score at 10:30. And on the DSN Plus app, along with that boys basketball game at 6 o'clock, it's girls basketball in the Crown Sports Center High School League. And we have boys lacrosse. And then at 6:15, more boys basketball in the Maryland Supreme Court Basketball League.
And all of interior Delmarva now under an extreme heat warning with heat advisories at the coast. 92 in Laurel as we're well into the 90s this afternoon. It's dangerous heat is continuing for a couple more days. Another code red for tomorrow for excessive heat. I'll let you know when we could see some relief. Call the Coast TV First Alert weather phone. It's sponsored by Brockstead Mandalis Federico. Your sizzling 10-day forecast is next. Heat advisory has now been upgraded to an extreme heat warning for interior Sussex County. Along the coast, it's a heat advisory. Bottom line, it's hot. And this extreme heat warning, we're looking at heat indices in excess of 110. Actual temperature 97 today with the code red. And tomorrow could be the hottest day of the year so far. 99, very dangerous heat. 96 Wednesday. It does cool down for the end of the week with showers and storms. 90 Thursday, then 80s into the weekend with more showers and storms.
Thank you, Bob, and thank you for joining us here for Coast TV News Midday. And for more news and local weather, download our Coast TV News app. Don't forget to join us for Coast TV News at 5 later this afternoon. Have a great day.